Hey everybody, welcome to the newest video here from the Dark Stuff. It's me, your friend, your buddy Dave Splash here, doing a quick concert review. I saw Criss about 2 days ago on the current tour, the Freedom to Rock tour in Lincoln, Nebraska on Friday, July 22nd. And as some of you might know, overall, in the grand scheme of things, in the entire history of music, my favorite band overall is Criss. I qualify that always by saying that I love the 70s Criss, the classic stuff, the early days. I grew up listening to them in the 80s, so I have pretty strong familiarity with their stuff in the 80s, and I've been following them pretty much my entire life. But I have kind of refused adamantly to see the current version of Criss, which has been going on since about 2003 or so, 2002, 2003, in which Ace Frehley and Criss were replaced by Eric Singer on drums and Tommy Thayer on guitar, and those guys wear the classic Ace and Peter makeup, and they do the classic Criss show. And I'm just offended by the whole concept. Let me point out that I'm a longtime Criss fan. I just dug this out of my archives. Here's from my first concert from back in 1983 on the Creatures of the Night tour, the 10th anniversary tour, 73 to 83. I saw them on every tour in the 80s, from them there through Lick It Up, all of the 80s tours through Hot in the Shade, Revenge. I was at opening night of the reunion tour in June 28th, 1996 at Tiger Stadium. Saw them probably 2 or 3 times on that tour. Saw them 2 or 3 times on Circus, which was the 98-99 tour. And then the 2000-2001 tour, the so-called farewell tour, I saw them only once on that tour, and that was the last time I've seen Criss. I've steadfastly refused. Okay, I just don't dig what they're trying to do. I did decide, because I got free tickets to see them this last weekend in Lincoln, that I would give it a try. I mean, you know what? I decided I'm going to just try to be open-minded about what's going on. I think that a lot of people who are just, they buy into the whole company line with Criss and they're just big fans. I'm talking about some of the podcasts and stuff like that, like the Three Sides of the Coin. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with Criss stuff, but who just completely support whatever Criss is doing. I think that what they do is they mischaracterize the opinions of people like me and just say, oh, we just want Ace and Peter back. And, well, I would like Ace Frehley back. Peter, I don't really care about. It's not about original members versus non-original members. It's about the identities of each member. It's about one person pretending to be somebody else. When Criss quit, they had Eric Carr come in. He had his own makeup character. He was the Fox. When Ace Frehley left, they had Vinnie Vincent. He had his own makeup character, the Ankh or the Egyptian or whatever the fuck that stupid thing was. And then in the non-makeup years, you didn't have to create an identity. You were just who you were. You were Vinny, you were Bruce Kulick, you were Mark St. John, you were Eric Singer. And that was fine, and I accepted those guys as members. I mean, that was kind of a bad period for the band, those 80s records, but it's not because those guys were pretending to be Ace Frehley, and they weren't. As a fan of the band, I just accepted those guys. That's the guy that's currently in the band. But once Criss finally reunited with the original lineup, a reunion, and they did those 5 years as a reunited band. And I just think that if you want to bring in new guys, fine. It doesn't have to be the original guys. Give them their own makeup design. And I've heard all the arguments about how, yeah, Ace and Peter sold their share of it, or they gave away the rights to this or that. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not making a legal argument. I'm making an aesthetic argument as a fan. I just don't like seeing those guys up there pretending to be who they're not. Now, it's one thing if they just played guitar and drums, but the Eric Singer does come out and actually sing Beth as though he were Criss. And the Tommy Thayer, who plays Ace, did the song Shock Me. That's one of Ace's signature songs. Now, if you're just going to be the lead guitar player, that's fine. Just play lead guitar. But that takes it a step further. Anyways, there's my preamble to the review of the show. I'll start off with another little clip from the concert the other night. Okay, as you can see, I had pretty sweet seats. I was about I think in the 8th row, a little bit to the left, facing on Gene's side of the stage. I mean, killer seats. And the staging is very nice on this tour. It's a really, really good production, very, very high tech, very modern, very good. Mixes the classic Kiss show with a current, more modern take on it. I dug it from that perspective. Song selection, well, on a positive note, the band played nothing from the album Monster, which is their most recent album, and nothing from the one from a few years ago, which I'm already drawing a blank on, that had the song Modern Day Delilah on it, the other one with Tommy Thayer. In fact, the newest song that they did was, I would say, Psycho Circus, which they could have left off entirely also. So off the first album, they did Deuce, they did Cold Gin, they did Black Diamond, nothing off the second album. Just to Kill, they just did Rock and Roll Over, Destroyer, Detroit Rock City, God of Thunder, Flaming Youth, nice bonus, never seen them play Flaming Youth, I do like that song, and then Beth, nothing off Rock and Roll Over, they did Love Gun, then a couple of 80s songs, they did Lick It Up, they did 3 songs off Creatures of the Night, which was actually pretty cool. I could have done without I Love It Loud, but that's a hit, so I know they're going to do that. But they played the actual song, Creatures of the Night. And they played War Machine. Positive notes on that score. And then, of course, Psycho Circus, and then they were pretty much done. So it was a shorter set, a 90-minute set. And it was career spanning, but, you know, a lot of gaping holes. I could have done with some better choices of songs. I would have liked to have heard just more stuff off the first 2 records. Maybe something off Rock and Roll Over. I mean, I don't know how you get away without doing Calling Dr. Love or Ladies Room, or, you know, Making Love, or just any of those songs on there. I'm not trying to be a hater on what Kiss is currently doing. They put on an entertaining show, and at one point in the crowd, during the show, Paul Stanley asked how many people here are seeing Kiss for the first time. I swear to God, like 80% of the crowd raised their hands and cheered. So to these people who were there, and they were all having a good time, they don't appear to give a shit that those are fake guys wearing Ace and Peter's makeup. And unfortunately, that doesn't bode well for the argument of guys like me who are clamoring to get Ace back. Now, I do think Ace is coming back. I know Peter is not. I do think Ace is coming back. But based on what I saw in Lincoln, the average Kiss fan, not the obsessed Kiss fan, the average Kiss fan is not clamoring for it the same way that I am, and that some other old school fans are, and they're perfectly happy seeing a Kiss tribute show featuring Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Again, now that I've seen it, I know what we're talking about. They do put on an entertaining show. I just can't get it out of my mind that it's sort of pretend, and that it's just not the right guys. And I have more respect for Ace, Frehley, and Peter, and at least for their contributions. And, you know, Eric Singer was a legitimate member of the band. Why couldn't he have his own makeup? Why couldn't Tommy Thayer just be his own guy? I don't think it ruins the aesthetic, and I don't think it's going to make these people who were there at their first Kiss concert, you know, a lot of little kids, teenagers, college kids or whatever, who they don't even, 20 years ago when the reunion started, they were infants, you know? So they don't care. So they could have created new makeup designs. I don't think it would have been a big struggle. But now I've seen it, and so when Ace comes back, I'll go see them one final time, and then they need to retire. They are getting old. Paul's voice sounded okay, but it's been better. And Gene, you know, he's doing like 2-3 songs during the show. That's it. It's very light on Gene these days. So anyways, that's my wrap up. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.